What causes skin cancers? Skin cancers, one of the most important factor is genetics. So typically, the genetic predisposition is a big factor. The genetic predisposition is a big factor. The genetic predisposition is a big factor that has to be taken into consideration. So sunscreen is the thing that we can control in us and in our children. So using sunscreen SPF 30 or above, applying it 15 to 30 minutes before sun exposure, reapplying it every 2 to 3 hours or every time you get out of the water, is one of the things that we can do. Keeping in mind that childhood sunburns are the ones that usually cause skin cancers later on in life. So skin cancers typically come out 20, 30 years later after the blistering sunburn.
One more important piece of the puzzle was found in 2005, when cancer researcher Keith Chang was studying the black and white stripes of zebrafish.
There are a lot of zebrafish in my laboratory because I'm a geneticist and I study how mutations occur, which is how cancer occurs. And I use pigmentation to detect those mutations. By chance, the light skin-colored fish that I used for that research also taught us a lot about how Europeans, how humans became lighter skinned.
What Professor Chang discovered was perhaps one of the most important genetic mutations ever found. A single change among literally billions of coded instructions within zebrafish DNA that reduced black pigment from their stripes. Soon after, this identical genetic mutation was found in fair-skinned Europeans. The genetic mutation was found in fair-skinned Europeans.
There was a magic moment in this research. When I got back the results that showed that the number and the size and the amount of pigment in the light-skinned zebrafish were all diminished, and the same thing happened in humans. When I opened the textbook and saw that same thing, I began to sweat. Not only did light-skinned people evolve from black-skinned people, but lighter-skinned people, whether they're European or whether they're Asian, like me, were actually mutants of the dark-skinned people. But lighter-skinned people, whether they're European or whether they're Asian, were actually mutants of the dark-skinned people.
This was remarkable because we had only inferred on the basis of circumstantial evidence that this must have occurred in evolution, but we didn't have any concrete genetic evidence. Now we do.
Jin took DNA from over 160 ethnic groups around East Asia. Over 12,000 samples. And so, what did you find?
We did not see even one single individual that could be considered as the descendant of the Homo erectus in China. Rather, everybody was a descendant of our ancestors from Africa.
The result couldn't have been any clearer.
First modern Britons had dark to black skin, Cheddar Man DNA analysis reveals. The fossil, known as Cheddar Man, was unearthed more than a century ago in Goff's Cave in Somerset. Intense speculation has built up around Cheddar Man's origins and appearance because he lived shortly after the first settlers crossed from continental Europe to Britain at the end of the last ice age. People of white British ancestry alive today are descendants of this population. First modern Britons had dark to black skin. People of white British ancestry alive today are descendants of this population.
I'm about to piss every white person off on this app right now.
Misnomer
oh
white.
Shit, here we go. I just saw a TikTok that said, what if white people didn't exist? And then I remembered, we aren't supposed to exist. Being white is a genetic mutation. We don't exist naturally. White people literally come from when Pangea was a thing, and then we split up into different continents, and then people moved further away from the equator and bred lighter and lighter skinned people and even albinos until white people were created. So people that are white have the audacity to be like, we're the Aryan race, we're the supreme race. Baby. How can you be the supreme race when you weren't even a race to begin with? You can't be superior.